486 people on with us now.
Wonderful.
Okay, let's see where we're all from. Why don't you stick your country into the, where you are, into the chat box, and we'll just get a flavour of where we're all from. So, Glasgow, France, D, how you do? Oregon, London,
Lebanon, Yorkshire, Donegal, Bray, Hertfordshire,
South Africa,
Waterford,
Wales.
Dublin.
Wales beat us at rugby at the weekend. Potter's
Yeah.
Bar. Sweden.
Again, Canada.
Sweden. Wow.
Belgium. France.
Brighton, Cambridgeshire, London, Lebanon, Dublin, Wicklow, Essex,
Good.
Dublin, West Cork.
North Devon, Surrey, UT.
Okay, so we've a lot of people from the UK, a lot of people from Ireland, and then a splattering of people from other places, which is great.
Yeah.
And even South Africa, which is fantastic. I'm not sure what time it is in South Africa now. Probably a few hours ahead of us, I would imagine.
We have Lebanon.
Oh, Sligo. I'm from Sligo, Mona, myself. I was born down in Sligo. Great county. Good to see somebody from Sligo.
Lovely Leash. Lovely Alison. Lovely Leash. Chicago. Oh, it's in snow at the moment, are you, Sandy?
Okay, great.
Pamela. Lovely.
Okay, so what time is it? It's 7:33. Isle of Man. I'm no COVID in the community here. Well done over there. Lucky you. I saw a program about the Isle of Man the other day. So you're all moving about and doing things freely, whereas we can't even get a cup of coffee over here unless we want to stand out in the street and drink it. But anyway, Linda is from Lydia is from Drogheda. That's where I'm at the moment right now. I live in Drogheda, you know, so that's good. Lydia Camellia Danza. I hope I have that right. Yeah, in Drogheda. Well done. Yeah, I'm Drogheda as well. Scarlett Street in Drogheda, so I'm probably fairly close to wherever you are. Donegal. Oh, Anya, hiya, Anya. How you doing?
Westport, Fiona. London, Cavital.
Okay, so we 560 on the call and it's still going up. So Joy is from the Lebanon.
And Ellen from the Netherlands is represented.
Oh, very good. And Paul Matthews is on from Hare Island. Hiya, Paul.
And Joy from Lebanon again. Hare Island, how are you, Paul?
Paul's a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
Maria from Carlow. Okay, so great crowd on. What are we going? 572. We might even reach 600. You never know. Cashel, the City of Kings. Oh, Karen and Billy. Hi, Karen and Billy. How you doing? Our singing entertainers there. Good to see you back on again.
Oh, great. We might get a song yet out of them.
You never know. I'll have to get, if my mother knows they're on, she'll be on for another song, you know.
Mona Lisa.
Yeah, Mona Lisa.
Well, we're coming towards the equinox now. You'll have to organise a party.
Oh, we'll have a party on the 21st of March, yeah. We'll have another party. We'll get some singers and songwriters and poets and whatever together. Definitely. I said we'd do something at all the major celestial days, you know. So we'll have a party on the 21st of March. So that's about a month away. We'll organise something.
Sally Hayden is from Leyland, and I spent a year doing general practice in Leyland many moons ago.
Where's Leyland, Don?
Leyland is in Lancashire. It's where they created the Leyland car.
All right. Okay. Okay.
I see Madeline there as well.
Alex PS8 is from Laois.
Who?
Oh, John Shields in Dundalk. Hiya, John. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh, so Warrington down the road. Lived in Cheshire for 20 years. Lived in not Cheshire, but in Skelmersdale, close to Warrington. Indonesia, but living in Germany, Karen.
Okay, we're at 598 people. Two more. Now 599, 600. There we go. That's the biggest number we've had.
602.
Let me serious and start to work.
Yeah. So we're spreading this knowledge all over the place. So it's fantastic. 600 people. That's great. That's great. Yeah. We always get thousands of people signing up, but not everybody can come on, and then lots of people watch the replays, So I think we haven't had 600 actually come on a call before. I think the last one we did, we 560. So it's great to get 600.
It makes it really worthwhile for us because our heartfelt desire is to spread this knowledge as much as possible, and the more of you that are there to listen, the more we're fulfilled by your presence. So thanks.
Yeah,
very much.
and the fact that John from Kilkenny, the fact that so many people are back again is a great testimonial, because obviously they're getting a lot from it, and they're coming back to get even more. So if any of you have words of encouragement for the new people, you can put them into the chat box there if you want. But it's great to see so many people coming back and continuing on with this knowledge.
Oh, Lainey, you're right. Can you hear me now? Is the sound better?
No, your sound is fine, Don.
Oh, good.
Lainey, must be your speakers. If anyone has sound problems, then just adjust your volume on your speakers there. All sound problems tend to be local issues, so just adjust the volume up and down on your own system. Margaret and Peter Warrington, welcome.
Oh, Margaret there again. Good on you, Margaret. And Peter. So let's go, Noel.
Okay, so we're on 620. So what we've done now, because many people did our course before, so this is a brand new course. This is a course that we designed ourselves, and many of the topics we're going to talk about are things we've covered before, but that's always good in Ayurveda, because repetition is the way to learn things. Rather than stressing on getting information in, the way we like people to learn things is just to hear it and then rehear it and then rehear it, and then it goes in a very easy way, and suddenly you just know it. So we've designed this is a 6-lesson course that we designed. We've already recorded the videos, so we recorded the videos after the last 4 weeks. So what we're going to do is so what we're going to do is we're going to play the video, and our first video is just an introduction. We absolutely understand that there are new people here who don't know what Ayurveda is, maybe have never heard of it, have just been told about it by a friend. So in this introduction, it's the basis of what Ayurveda is. It covers the structure of this course, what we're going to cover in this course. I'll give the general introduction at the start, and then each of the doctors talk about what they feel is the most important area that you can take away from this course, for better health going forward in life, So, and then at the end of the introduction, what we'll do is we will have a Q&A, the Q&A that we normally have, which is generally the most interactive part of the webinar. Well, obviously the most interactive part of the webinar. So what we'll do is we will I'll share the screen now, so Dr. Brennan, you can guide me on this to make sure that we're coming through okay, and we'll play this video that we created for our first lesson, and then when that video is finished, we'll come back and we will start answering questions.
Yep, I can see it. No.
Means the knowledge of lifespan. And Ayurveda is the oldest traditional system of healthcare in the world. Well, it's reckoned to be the oldest traditional system of healthcare in the world. Its roots go back thousands upon thousands of years. There are many ancient scriptures that detail all the different modalities of Ayurveda that are there, and we'll be talking about them during the course. Its roots are in India and Asia, and it's still used by millions of people in the East as their main system of healthcare, and it's gaining huge traction in the West as well. So basically, what is it? What way does it look at health? How does it look at disease and ill health? Well, fundamentally, it looks at health in terms of balance, and ill health in terms of imbalance. Okay, so it sees that when things are in balance in the body, then people are happy, they're contented, and they have good health and long life. But when things go out of balance, which we're going to talk about a lot, then this causes problems. So what Ayurveda is always trying to do is to discover, well, what is the person doing, or what lifestyle are they adopting that's making things go out of balance, and what can they do to help bring the system back into balance. But the overall worldview of Ayurveda is that at the fundamental level of life, of our existence, there is a field of pure consciousness. from where everything comes from. And this field of pure consciousness has many different names. And one of the names that people use for it is being, the field of being. And being is existence or pure consciousness. And we are, after all, what we call ourselves human beings. So we are the expression of that intelligence in the form of an individual physiology, in an individual person. We express that intelligence in the form of an individual. So that's the fundamental basics of the life view of Ayurveda, that this field of consciousness underlies everything. It doesn't just underlie me and you, it underlies everything that's in the creation, whether it's animate or inanimate. We just happen to express it in our human nervous system. But this field of consciousness is beyond thought, it's beyond space, it's beyond time. It correlates very well with what modern physicists would call the unified field theory of life as well. But we can go into that a little bit more later on. But anyway, this field of consciousness, this field of unity expresses itself. And it expresses itself through diversity, through all the diverse things that are there. If you think about it, we live in a universe. That's what we live in, okay? So what does the word universe mean? Well, the word universe means unity of diversity. Now, diversity is obvious. I'm different than you. The computer is different than the table. Black is different than red. In actual fact, if we look out with our senses at the world, we would think that it's just diversity, that there's no unity, that everything is separated from everything else, and that it's just a world of beautiful diversity. And from the point of view of the senses, that would be true. But this underlying field of unity is there. So what is this unity that they talk about, okay? So again, that comes back to being the field of being. And this field of consciousness expresses itself in all this diversity. And it, at its basic fundamental level, it expresses itself through 5 different elements, 5 different material things that make up the material universe. And they are earth, air, fire, water, and space. Earth, air, fire, water, and space. So everything in the universe is made up of these elements. And everything is a mixture. Well, sometimes you can have just pure water or you can have pure fire, but generally things are a mixture of these things. And what Ayurveda does is it categorizes these mixtures in people into 3 what they call doshas. And these 3 doshas are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And Vata, Pitta, and Kapha are 3 words that you're going to become very, very familiar with over this course. Now, Vata is made of air and space. And Pitta is made of fire and water, and Kapha is made of earth and water. And all of these elements exist inside every human being, but in different amounts, okay? So some people will have a lot of the fire element in them. They'll be very fiery people. They'll be what's called Pitta people. Some people will have more of the space element in them. They'll be very artistic. They'll be very thin and quick moving. And some people will have a lot of the Kapha element in them. They'll be heavier. They'll be slower moving. They'll have, heavier bone structure and, slow to pick things up, but retain things for a long time when they do pick them up. So an understanding of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha is fundamental to the understanding of Ayurveda, because I say we're all a mixture of these things. And actually our first 3 classes cover these 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Now, everybody has a unique nature. No 2 people are the same. And that's the great thing about Ayurveda. It's not just saying there's one thing suits everybody, because there isn't one thing suits everybody. Some foods may suit me because I'm a Pitta type, cooling foods, but they mightn't necessarily suit a Kapha person. Or some exercises might suit me, but other exercises may cause me to go out of balance and cause harm to me. And those exercises would be better for somebody else. So it's not one size fits all. It's a unique size for yourself. And understanding your own nature is a very, very important part of Ayurveda, because then you can understand the things that bring balance in your life and bring imbalance in your life. Because what you've got to remember, it's not only you that's made up of earth, air, fire, water, and space, but everything in the universe is made up of earth, air, fire, water, and space. So everything is either bringing balance or imbalance to you. And it's only through understanding our natures that we can decide the things that are good for us. Now, the very interesting thing is that in Ayurveda, all diseases, now think of the word disease. I'm sure you've seen this before, but it's 2 words, dis-ease, imbalance. All diseases are caused by an imbalance of Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. So everything from anxiety to insomnia to migraine to whatever you care to mention, it's looked at in terms of this imbalance. And so what Ayurveda is trying to do, it's trying to identify the imbalance. So if you're suffering from anxiety, Ayurveda is saying, okay, well, anxiety tends to be a Vata condition, too much air and space, too much movement. So is this person a Vata person to start with? What's aggravating their Vata? What are they doing that's causing this to happen? And what can they do to reverse it? So maybe the person needs to learn a meditation technique. Maybe a person needs to do oil massages. Maybe they need to take certain foods, certain warm, nourishing foods. Maybe they need to change their job or their lifestyle or something like that. So Ayurveda is looking at those things to see, well, what's causing these imbalances and what can we do to bring back the system back into balance. So living in tune with nature is how we have ideal health, is how we have perfect health. And as I say, all diseases are associated with imbalances in Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So you're going to learn all about this over the following 6 lessons. We're going to go greatly in depth to it. Before I introduce the doctors, I just want to do 1 or 2 things. I want to show you some places where you can do a little bit of homework. You can find out more about Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And I also want to show you a little video that I got from YouTube, that is where the director of the World Health Organization is talking about Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So if you just bear with me for a second, there we are there. So we'll just play this little video.
Your Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Excellencies, dear colleagues and friends, Namaste. Traditional systems of medicine such as Ayurveda can play an important role in integrated, people-centered health services and self-care, but they have not received enough attention. In a WHO report last year, 170 countries reported the use of traditional and complementary medicine, including Ayurveda. Earlier this week, I had the great honor of speaking with His Excellency Prime Minister Modi. I welcome the Prime Minister's strong commitment to universal health coverage through the Ayushman Bharat initiative and the use of evidence-based traditional and complementary medicine supported by the Ministry of Ayush. I'm pleased to announce that we have agreed to open a WHO Global Center on Traditional Medicine in India to strengthen the evidence, research, training, and awareness of traditional and complementary medicine. This new center will support WHO's efforts to implement the WHO Traditional Medicine Strategy 2014 to 2023. Which aims to support countries in developing policies and action plans to strengthen the role of traditional medicine as part of their journey to universal health coverage and a healthier, safer, fairer world. Finally, I wish you a very happy Diwali. I thank you.
So that's the Director General of the World Health Organization talking about the Ayurveda. And I suppose Ayurveda was used quite widely in the treatment of COVID during the pandemic, and to what seemingly, anyway, it's very hard to tell with these things, but seemingly to very, very good results, you know. So actually we have some very nice videos on our YouTube channel, which I'm going to be showing you towards the end of the class. So, and I'm happy to say we have huge support for Ayurveda from the Indian Embassy in Ireland as well, and they're very keen to help us promote this knowledge around the country and even get it into the universities and even establish chairs in universities as well, you know. So I tell you what, I won't share our website with you yet. What we'll do is I'll introduce you to the doctors now, and the doctors can tell you about what they, you know, hope that you get from this course and what they feel are the most important things that you can take away from this course. And then I'll come back at the very end and I'll show you our website, because there's a huge resource of information on our website. I'll show you where our YouTube channel is, and I'll show you how you can access these lessons in case you happen to miss one, because, you know, life is busy. You might not always be able to be here every Tuesday and Thursday for 3 weeks, and you may miss a lesson, but don't worry about that, because we can catch up on those lessons later on. So there's no issue over that. I also want to say to you is that you're going to be introduced to a lot of new terminology here and a lot of new phrases, but the best way to learn things is through repetition. So don't stress or strain over trying to understand these too quickly. Just allow the knowledge to go in. Just listen and allow the knowledge to go in. And then what happens is it'll be repeated, or somebody will ask a question about it or something, and you'll hear it again and you'll hear it again. And after a while, you'll very quickly begin to recognize, you know, all these different words and how they relate to very practical things. And I want to say that even though talking about, you know, being and consciousness might seem impractical, Ayurveda is a very, very practical system of healthcare. You're going to get great advices here for your daily routine and for things that you can do to maintain very positive health, to maintain very strong immunity. And if unfortunately you are already in a situation where there is some disease or imbalance in your system, you'll get great knowledge that'll maybe help you to start reversing that and bringing your system back into balance. So the first of our doctors that I want to introduce you to is Dr. Don Brennan. Now, Dr. Don Brennan, I'm sure some of you are already aware of because he's quite well known. So Dr. Brennan is a medical doctor. He trained in Ireland in medicine, practiced medicine in Ireland, worked in various hospitals in Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland, and but more importantly, he's been involved in the field of Ayurveda for over 30 years now at this stage. So he's consulted with literally thousands upon thousands of people, and he's lectured widely, and he's appeared on the Late Late Show, he's appeared in the media, he's appeared on radios and doing newspaper articles. He is the founding president of the Ayurvedic Practitioners Association in the UK, which is quite a strong practitioners association over there. And so he's very well respected in the Ayurvedic community. I would have to say at this stage, he's probably one of the most knowledgeable Western-trained Ayurvedic doctors in the world at this stage, with the wealth of experience that he has. And it's absolutely fantastic. He now lives in Dublin, and I've worked with Dr. Brennan for the last 15 years or so. And it's great that he comes on, and you're going to see that he has a wealth of wisdom to share with everybody. So Dr. Brennan, I'm going to hand over to you, and maybe you might even want to give yourself a little introduction or whatever, or maybe you'd like to say what people can take away from this course and what you feel are the most important things that people will get from this course. So Dr. Brennan, we'll hand over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Noel, for that very comprehensive introduction to Ayurveda, and inspiring to see it's getting to the highest level of recognition now. I would like to just, as with each of us, take one aspect that we feel is very important, that we would like you to take away from this short course. And so these three things form a fundamental basis to a healthy life, and it just focuses your mind for the rest of the course, hopefully, to pick up on these three. And in order to introduce the particular fundamental that I'm going to talk about, I just want to bring you on a personal journey, because as a teenager, my real concern and interest and question was, why do people suffer? And I could see nowhere around me people who really didn't, nor any answer to the question that was profound. And so I thought to myself, well, the best field probably to find out would be medicine. And if medicine didn't know, at least I'd have 7 years more to think about it. So I ended up doing medicine, and was shocked when I came to the end of the medical course to discover that medicine didn't know. It's not a fundamental situation where it has sorted out the reasons for suffering and ameliorates them. In fact, it turned out actually that the practice of medicine was more symptomatic based, trying to treat the anxiety or trying to treat the cancer, and very superficial in its approach, purely physical, mainly, with surgery and medicines being the prime instrument. So that was shocking to me. But something had happened to me in the process of medical studies, which was that I had learned Transcendental Meditation and had witnessed in myself mood swings, which were quite disruptive at times, and increasing anxiety with the pressures of the medical course, just settled down. And I became, by the end of the medical course, quite a happy person. And I thought, well, there must be something here. So relatively soon after doing the medical training, I trained as a TM teacher. And then I was in a complete dilemma, because with the TM, I was teaching people, and I could see their suffering relieved, and they're becoming happier through the simple practice of sitting down, closing their eyes, and transcending. But at the same time, I was working in casualty in Northern Ireland during the Troubles, and I could see people coming in traumatized and through the medical approach ease their suffering. And so I couldn't bring them together until I studied Ayurveda. So Maharishi Ayurveda was a perspective that drew me in because it explained why each of us suffer. And it comes back to what Noel was telling us, that fundamentally we are being. We are transcendence. We are consciousness. And this is the paradigm that Maharishi Ayurveda is bringing to our attention. And so within us is all the information and the intelligence, which is arising from that refined essence of being, in order for us to conceive and construct and to govern and become our bodies, right? And so having done that, our culture and traditions focuses outwardly, and unfortunately, it has to be said, our culture is dominated by a maddening pursuit of wealth, as if that was the means of fulfilling all desires. And yet we see the happiest people are often the poorest, and the wealthiest are often not an inspiration. So what is the cause of suffering? Ayurveda describes, like quantum physics describes, how nature unfolds in layers and layers. In physics, it will be energy, it will be fine particles, it will be atoms and molecules, tissues, organs, a physical structure. In Ayurveda, Maharishi Ayurveda, it's consciousness at the depth. It unfolds as fine feelings. It unfolds as an intellect. It unfolds as a mind. It unfolds as these 5 dynamics that Noah was talking about, giving rise to the doshas that structure our bodies. So at every level, laws of nature, as they're called in science, which are principles of organization. It's like the rules whereby consciousness must operate to unfold our physiology. So that laws of nature, that intelligence, that information is within. And our fault that causes us suffering is that we've been trained to look out. And in so doing, from childhood, we start to lose the memory, that wonderful inspiration and joy of the child, where they're intuitively in touch with a more profound level. They innocently manifest, express it. And there's such a joy because the field of consciousness is bliss. And so as they grow up, they're trained to look out. We forget who we are. We forget, therefore, all that flow of life from within. And because we lose our memory of the structuring principles of the organizing intelligence within ourselves, we make mistakes. And when we make mistakes, we go against our grain. As Noel said, we go out of balance. And the way we know we're out of balance is we suffer. So our suffering is actually due to our lack of insight. And therefore, in all field of Maharishi Ayurveda, the one fundamental is to wake up to that inner being. And the specific technique that has passed down through the most ancient tradition for that purpose is now known as Transcendental Meditation. There are different forms of meditation for different purposes. There is mindfulness to make you more mindful, which gives you insight as well and helps. There is compassion meditation, which is a much more focused type of meditation. So there are 3 types of meditation: focused, sort of mindfulness, attentive to something, and the transcendental meditation, which is the innocent process of allowing the awareness to do what the awareness would love to do, which is go back home and have a rest. And in that silence, of that stillness of awareness, to awaken to who you are. Now, this is not an idea. It is not an intellectual concept. It is not a grand theory. This is an experience. And because it is an experience, because it's beyond thought, we have to actually awaken to know, absolutely to know this field. And in so doing, our subtle level of awareness starts to align with that fundamental field and starts to actually process our feelings and then our thoughts and then our speech and then our action in line with all these innate wisdom of organizing principles or laws of nature. So we spontaneously start to compute life in terms of our living, which is in tune with nature, in tune with our needs, in tune with life as a whole. So if all of us, or a good proportion of us, could only wake on that level, this planet would have been secured. The reason this planet is so under threat and there is so much discord and unhappiness in the world is because we've forgotten who and what we are. And that's why I feel in the whole tradition of wisdom of Ayurveda, this most fundamental advice to experience your being, to transcend, is a fundamental, which when people do it, even spontaneously, they start to live life in tune, to go to bed at the right time, to eat the right foods, and so forth. It empowers, it motivates. So my number one, and it's a wonderful process of ongoing progressive awakening, of development and becoming more wise and more spiritual as life goes on. Practice transcendental meditation 20 minutes twice a day. I leave that with you. That is what I want you to take away from this course.
Okay, Dr. Brennan, thank you very much for that. So Dr. Brennan there dealt with that most fundamental level of life, which is consciousness, and TM being one of the techniques that allows us to go back and experience that and enliven that. And obviously being in tune with your nature, or being awake to your nature, is an incredibly important thing. So now Dr. Naheed is going to talk. Actually, I think Dr. Naheed is just muted there. I'll have to unmute her. And Dr. Naheed, hi, Dr. Naheed.
Naheed is still muted.
Yeah. Hi, Dr. Naheed, how are you? So I think you're going to cover you feel a very important thing with Ayurveda is digestion.
Yes. So Ayurveda, there is a saying in Ayurveda that it's not what we eat, it's what we digest. So Ayurveda puts a great emphasis on digestion and archaic as well, because ultimately at the end product of digestion is oja, which you are going to learn from this course. So what I'll emphasis on, what you can take from this course, is that how important our digestion is. So Ayurveda not only has described about the diet, like what should be the diet, but also how a person should eat. Like I just give you a few examples, and then you'll get to know in detail about the digestion in the lesson 6 from all of us. So there are a few examples, like if you have to put at least a 3 hours gap between your meal so that your previous meal gets digested properly and you don't produce any metabolic toxin out of that. You use that food, what you have it, and you make good tissues and good ojas out of that. So why digestion is so important in Ayurveda? Because digestion, if we say that that's a process in which whatever we eat, it goes under process and our body utilizes that. From the Ayurvedic point of view, when we eat something, we form rasa, the first body tissue. So the more healthy is the rasa, subsequently all the other tissues will form from rasa. So Rakta, Mangsha, Meda, Majja, and Shukra all will form from that rasa, which is the finest nutrient products out of our digestion. And then we form the ojas, which is our stabilizing force, which is our immunity, which actually just, keep us healthy enough and able us to fight with any disease and withstand any circumstances in any crunch situation. And also, I would like you to emphasize that you will get to know about how a vata and a pitta and a kapha person digest their food. How is their digestive capacity? So a vata person mostly have like irregular kind of digestion. The pitta have a very sharp kind of digestion. Kapha have very slow, very sluggish kind of digestion. So what should be your food preferences if you are a vata? What should be your food preferences if you are a pitta? And what should be your food preferences if you are a kapha? What should be the after after process, when you have your food, like you need to just sit down, you need to go out for a walk. So why this walk is important, why it's related to diet? It's because our gut is very well connected to our mind. So when you go for a walk, when you go out, you are relaxing your mind, you are giving your a good environment to your entire system to digest your food properly. So all I say that just focus on each lesson, like how Avata, Pitta, and Kapha body behaves, and how their digestion behaves, and how should they plan their food accordingly. And you might be facing troubles, like you are a Vata, your husband is Pitta, and maybe your Kapha child is Kapha. So you don't know how to cook your food properly, like how you manage around like something you are digesting properly, and your other family member are not able to do that properly. So you'll get to know in this course how you can plan your diet, how you can do, like can go very easily around with cooking your food and enjoying your food. So be with us, enjoy the course, and I'll hand over to you, Noel.
Okay, Dr. Naheed. So thanks very much for that. Yes, so that diet and digestion are incredibly important in Ayurveda, because obviously, like, you're rebuilding your body all the time. It's amazing to think that the physical structure that you have, that you're watching this video with now, within 3 years, nearly 100% of that will have been replaced. But in 1 year, 99% of the physical you sitting in the chair there won't be you anymore. It'll have, all the atoms, all the cells will have regenerated themselves. You're creating something like 300 billion new cells every day. That's more stars than there are in the Milky Way. And yet this is happening without your conscious control. It's just all happening in the background. But obviously you need ingredients to make those new cells. And the ingredients is what you breathe and what you eat. So what you take into your body is very, very important. And not only what you take into your body, but the power of your digestion to be able to make the best use of what you're taking in. So even if you are eating good in-season food, but your digestion has been disturbed and is weak, then you're not digesting it properly. It's like taking coal and putting it on a big load of coal and putting it on a fire that's not lit. All it does is put the fire out as opposed to generating more heat. So getting your digestion correct is very, very important in Ayurveda. Having a good fire within the gut so that when you do put food in there, that it gets broken down correctly. And Dr. Naheed mentioned one of the first tissues that comes from the digestion of food, which is rasa. And we're going to be discussing all of those different, how one tissue turns into another tissue, and how it's very important to have strong digestion the whole way along. So we're going to cover that a lot. As Dr. Naheed said, a Kapha person will have a different power of digestion than a Vata person, who will have a different power of digestion than a Pitta person. So you'll discover your nature as we go on with this course, and we'll have lots and lots of tips for people about how to strengthen their digestion if your digestion is weak, and also great tips about the types of foods that you should be eating, both from a seasonal and a daily point of view as well. So thanks very much for that, Dr. Naheed. So we now go to Dr. Rajvinder. I'm sure many of you know Dr. Rajvinder as well. She's been working in the Ayurveda Center since about 2007. She's a very well accomplished Ayurvedic doctor. She's treated thousands of people as well and consulted with thousands of people. And I think, Dr. Rajvinder, your favorite area in this course is going to be around the lifestyle that people should get involved in, and the things that they should do. So maybe you should say a few words about that.
Yes, no, thank you. Well, Ayurveda is, we're going to talk that in detail, is made up of two words, which is Ayu and Veda. So Ayurveda is all the knowledge about your life. So it's a way of living. So it's a path that you walk on. And Ayurveda encourage people to find the balance in their mind, body, and spirit, because they all are connected to each other. As you have heard Dr. Brennan and Dr. Naheed talking about how important the meditation is, how important the food is. So the third aspect of your health is the lifestyle. So Ayurveda has a big wealth of knowledge on the lifestyle. How should we live? So that's how we're going to find ourselves, who we are first, knowing your body type, because your prakriti your body type respond to any of the change in your diet, any of the change in your environment, any of the change in your habits. And that's how your Vata, Pitta, Kapha is affected with the slight change in the weather, even you feel it yourself. So the way of living, the lifestyle we call in Ayurveda, is very important. So we're going to discuss in our coming courses about the change, how the time change in the day. And there is a 4-hour window for each of the dosha. There's a 4 hour for vata in the morning, early morning, 4 hours for kapha, 4 hours for pitta, and then back to vata, like that. So understanding that principle, and I would encourage everybody to make one effort. So the word effort, yes, it is a daily effort in the habit that Ayurveda encourages us to make one change, one new things in our daily routine to achieve the right, the perfect balance. So in the morning, for example, if we say 6 to 10 is the kapha time. So getting up early is one effort in the day. So getting up in the kapha time of the day and go for a little walk or do your daily abhyanga to kind of stimulate your body to have a better day, in energetic day, and living a full day of full potential, and living a day of your full potential. So just getting up early in the morning. And then the second window, which is 10 to 2, is the pitta time of the day, which Ayurveda emphasizes eating your main meal in the middle of the day. And you will be surprised. It is hard in the beginning because we all are so used to work hard during the day and sit down in the evening and have a big meal. But by changing that, your energy levels are better, your blood glucose are better, and your sleep is better when you eat in the middle of the day. And then in the evening, you take it easy, do your kind of more evening TM, and have a light evening meal and go to bed on time. So that's how Ayurveda have divided your day into these 4 hours of window, and there is always a choice to do this particular thing in that hour. So that's what lifestyle is. There's a huge amount of wisdom there, and you can do a lot more. I'm just touching just one little point here. So what when you go to Ayurveda physician, they look at you and they tell you about your body type, and they tailor this personal unique lifestyle for you. And by following this, don't get overwhelmed with so much knowledge, so many different tips. Just do one at a time, and it bring a big change into your body, into your balance, and into your day. So this ancient so I will say, this little effort in your habits on the daily basis, the guidance is this ancient wisdom. We are not guiding you. The guidance comes from the wisdom, which is very ancient, more than 5000 BC, as you have heard a lot, and still working. And you live a life that is full of health, full of happiness, and you reach your full potential in your life. So this is what Ayurveda lifestyle is about. You tune in with yourself, you get to know yourself, and slowly, you don't need a physician to tell you, do this, do that. You get connected to yourself better. And there's a whole lot of research on this circadian rhythm, on the lifestyle, and I think that is the most upcoming lifestyle medicine will be practiced a lot in the coming years. So here you are getting all the wisdom through this wonderful series of lectures, through our wonderful doctors and our wonderful Noel, who is guiding all of us. So thank you.
Okay, Dr. Rajvinder, thank you very much. And I think you said something really important there as well, is that people, we've had habits for years, people are different ages and all that, and they've been doing things for a long time. We can't change, and we shouldn't want to change all our habits straight away. It wouldn't make sense. It would be too much on the nervous system. So we change a little thing. If you're used to going to bed at 1 o'clock every day at nighttime, then obviously sleep is so important in Ayurveda, and we know now that sleep is incredibly important. And 1 o'clock is too late at nighttime to be going to bed. You've missed a lot of the healing that can go on during the pitta time in the evening. But you can't suddenly start going to bed at 9:30 if you've been going to bed at 1 o'clock every day. So you bring it back. You bring it back a half an hour. You bring it back an hour. And the same, with your food, you can't suddenly just give up everything that you've been doing. So it's baby steps, it's little steps. But the great thing is when you do make a change, then you begin to feel better, then that encourages you to do more change. If you try to take it all on in one go, you suddenly realize, oh no, I'm too uncomfortable with this, I can't do this. And then you just stop and you give up and you just go back to your old ways. So it's baby steps, it's little changes. And we have a whole lecture devoted to the cycles within the day, and a healthy daily morning routine with cleaning your mouth and cleaning your tongue. And we'll show you how to do the oil massage and put oil in your nose to help kill viruses that get in there and keep this respiratory area very, very clean. We go through the middle of the day and the importance of your main meal, and then what to do in the afternoon, and then what to do in the evening. So all of these things we will cover in the course as we go on. So that's what we wanted to do today, basically, was give you an introduction to our 3 doctors that are going to guide the lectures. They've outlined 3 main areas that they feel are very important. Dr. Brennan, in relation to enlivening that consciousness through a meditation technique, the one he prefers is Transcendental Meditation. It's my own personal technique as well, but there are other techniques as well. So we enliven that consciousness through that stillness, through experiencing that stillness, which silence is, we've known from all cultures that to experience stillness is very, very beneficial to people. And then Dr. Naheed talked about the importance of a strong digestion. And we're going to go over that, and we're going to show the things that can knock your digestion out of balance and how important it is to have that strong digestion. And then finally, Dr. Rajvinder talked about, all the lifestyle things that we're going to be talking about throughout this course. So what I want to do now, if you don't mind, is I just want to share our website with you, because there are lots of resources on this website that are going to be very important during this course. So okay, so this is our website here, ayurveda.ie, okay? And I just want to bring your attention to, when you go there, the spelling of Ayurveda, for new people, it's ayurveda.ie. So there's the spelling up there, okay? If you go to this menu option, Ayurveda, there's some great information here for new people, okay? So there is an article about Vata, an article about Pitta, and an article about Kapha. So you can read up about these 3 doshas. There's an introduction which tells you the importance of the doshas, and then there's an actual body type test that you can do yourself. So you can get an idea, or begin to get an idea. I wouldn't say it's 100% perfect, and it changes as people go on, but you can begin to get an idea of what your dosha is, So you can do that body type test, and so you get some idea of where we're going with this. And so all of those things between now and the next class, which will be on Thursday, maybe if you get a chance, you can go take a look at that. The other thing I want to bring you to is our YouTube channel, because this is where we're going to be putting up the repeats of the courses if you missed them. And we have a wealth of knowledge up on this YouTube channel. There are lots of videos on different topics, so you can scan down through this. I will be referring throughout the course to different videos that we will want you to watch. Like there are cookery course videos here. There are videos about the change of season. There's one, how to make an immunity boosting tea with Dr. Rajvinder. Another one, how to make ginger juice. There's some there about cooking. And then later on down, Dr. Brennan has lots of small videos about different topics that may be afflicting people. So this is a huge resource for knowledge. And as I say, this is where we're going to put up our Ayurveda courses. But you get to that very easily just from our website, just down here, you visit our YouTube channel. So that's what I wanted to show you there. This Ayurveda menu, where you can start getting a lot of information about Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and then also the link to our YouTube channel. So that's it. That's what we wanted to cover today. So what we're going to do now, and what we always do in these courses, is we have a Q&A. And what we'll do in this is we will take preference to questions in relation to the topics that we've covered today. So if there's anything in this video that you want to ask about, then please feel free to go ahead and ask. As usual, we'll try to answer any question, regardless of what it's about. But obviously, we'll just give preference to questions about the topics that were covered today. But our doctors are here to answer those questions, so we'll hand over and we'll start our Q&A now.
Well, can I just by saying that, when I did finally train in Maharishi Ayurveda, there was a lot of resistance to the whole concepts, and the inevitable question was, show me the evidence, And it was lovely to hear Dr. Rajvinder point out towards the end of her talk how everything that we're now saying and have been saying and has been said for the past thousands of years in Ayurveda is increasingly evidence-based. The evidence is, so powerful that anybody who denies these suggestions that we're giving to you is just closed-minded, actually, and refusing to take responsibility. And our challenge to you is that, when you hear the suggestions, that you actually take responsibility, because what will heal is you learning how to love yourself and listen to your own needs and integrate these suggestions, because you will feel better, you will be healthier, you'll prevent a lot of diseases, you may even heal what problems you have. And so we can only give you the information and encourage and motivate you as best we can. And so we hope you enjoy the course, and I'll hand you back to Noel to get your questions, which we're always looking forward to hearing.
No, that's great, Don. Thanks very much for pointing that out, because it is becoming more and more increasingly evidence-based. And, you know, one of the things that we really enjoy is getting testimonials back from people. And we have, you know, so many of them, for people who have done these courses, who have made lifestyle changes, who maybe have had a consultation with a doctor, started to adapt some of these things. And they've seen chronic conditions that they've lived with for years and years and years, begin to reverse and begin to ease, and their lives becoming healthier and happier. And that's the proof of the pudding. It's in the tasting. So you make these changes. Nobody's going to continue with these changes unless they're seeing benefits. So you make these changes in your life, and then you start to see the improvement, and you start to feel better, and you start to feel healthier, and you start to feel happier. And when you feel all those things, you don't want to feel any other way. That's the great thing about it, because it's great to feel healthy and happy, and you simply don't want to feel any other way. And then that encourages you to do the correct things. And it's not a matter of hardship to do the correct things. It's just a matter that you actually want to do the correct things. Okay, so that's fantastic. So we'll start our Q&A now. So I see some questions coming in there, doctor. So if you want to start answering them.
I think, Noel, Pitta, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to mind Vata? Are you supposed to mind Pitta? And what you really want to remember is that the whole purpose of Ayurveda is to help you to be self-reflective and to recognize for yourself what your needs are. And that comes increasingly with your increasing exposure to and appreciation of the Ayurvedic principles. So if you're two doshas like that, and that's very, very common to be two doshas, either you're very, very balanced or you're out of balance. If it's the situation that you're out of balance, then that takes priority, because you want to come back towards your own innate nature, to your healthy, balanced state. So if you've got Vata imbalances like constipation and anxiety and palpitations and a bad back and a tremor and God knows what else, and you see that it's all to do with movement and Vata out of balance, then obviously for you to get the extra rest, to get the good night's sleep, to get the relaxed meals, to have an oil massage, for you, your need is to focus on Vata through all ways possible until you're back to balance. And then you follow your physiology through the seasons. And obviously when it comes to the summer, you'll naturally be drawn to cold foods and drinks to cool the heat of your nature. Naturally, you'll want to have a little bit more fun and to chill out. So yes, then in the summer you're minding Pitta more, but then the winter, the cold, blowy autumn comes in and you start to feel the cold. You go back to hot foods and drinks and a little bit more emphasis on your rest and your routine again for Vata. So like that, you learn to flow with the seasons. But initially, balance the imbalance, and then be motivated by your nature and the season. I hope that makes sense. Maybe Dr. Nahid or Dr. Raj could clarify it more.
Yeah, so this question is like very common and very interesting, that if you have two doshas, then how are you going to manage yourself? What should be your gut type? So if I just simplify this, then I'll say like you can eat anything in moderation. Like every person, if your Vata and Pitta both are in same ratio, but still you are going to have imbalance either in your Vata or either your Pitta. So you need to focus on the dosha which is more imbalanced at that moment. And the second thing is, if you know that you are a Vata, then you can eat things which are light, which are dry in nature, but you need to eat that in moderation, in less frequency. Similarly, if you are a Pitta as well, then you need to focus on your gag, that it should not be very sour, it should not be very, spicy, it should not be very hot. So in this way, you can manage your gag, you can eat everything, just eat everything in moderation. Maybe Dr. Rajvinder would like to put some light on this.
Yeah, you both are right. What's going on at the present moment? That's what you need to. So we look, you have all the three. You don't only have two, you have all the three. It's the dominancy. So I explained it to people, it's like a seesaw where you have to find the balance. If the vata is going up, you're feeling sensitive, you're feeling less, sleep is disturbed. And if the pitta is going, you're feeling your adrenals are burning, you're feeling kind of too heat, angry, impatient, all of that. You need to see what's happening. So there are two things here, prakriti and vikriti. So you have to see this is your prakriti, which is your real nature, which is your body type. And that's who you are, and that's you will always be. That's when you're happy. And your vikriti is your imbalance. That's when you feel something is off and you don't feel yourself. And that's what you're correcting. So through your diet lifestyle.
And shortly the question to that, I am vata pitta, but I'm always too hot. Do I have a pitta imbalance? Actually, Joyce, I think that's good insight, because your feeling hot would suggest pitta, and your natural inclination in that situation is to cool down. So yes, I would be agreeing with you that in that situation you would want to balance the pitta imbalance, even though it's cold winter, but you want more soothing of your pitta.
You're drinking too much
Drinking too much what?
wine, alcohol,
Wine, oh yeah, that would
coffee,
you.
or maybe
Could be
coffee.
an argument either. That can provoke the pitta and you get real hot.
In the lockdown, lots of people say they are drinking more. They're drinking more coffee.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So is interesting.
And there is a question.
Go ahead, Nahid.
Thank you. So there's a question about how you can know your body type. So we have a quiz in our website. You can go there and you can check your body type, and that's your homework as well. And from the next lesson as well, we are going to discuss, like on just next lesson, we are going to discuss about vata and then pitta and then kapha. So you'll get to know that how a normal pitta behaves or how a normal vata behaves when they are in normal condition, and when they go out of balance, how they behave. Then you'll be able to slowly, when you're doing the course, you will be able to assess yourself whether you are balanced and whether you're imbalanced. And if your body is like very intelligent, I always say this, that will give you sign and symptoms. And if you find there are lots of sign and symptoms, then we are there to help you out. You can contact us, you can have a consultation, and you can just get to know that what's your prakriti and what's your vikriti.
There's a question there, is intermittent fasting for 18 hours good? Again, that's the beauty of Ayurveda, because it gives you a personalized understanding of what you should do. Because if someone is vata, to go 18 hours without food may not be good. But if it's kapha, if you're much more kapha, it could be brilliant. So it's different strokes for different folks. And so Angelica, I would say, if you're more on the kapha side, you'll be able to fast long and it'll be good for you. But vatas, and really the secret again is that we all have our innate wisdom, and if we're fiercely hungry, we shouldn't ignore it, you know. Independent of what we think is right, if we're fiercely hungry, we should eat. And the other question was, should kapha have the main meal in the middle of the day? It's more important for kapha than any other dosha, because if they don't have the main meal in the middle of the day, they eat too heavily from 6 to 10 morning and 6 to 10 evening, which are kapha times. So that provokes kapha. So yes, main meal in the middle of the day for kaphas.
And like regarding this question, I would like to just point out something, that whether Ayurveda recommends intermittent fasting or not. So Ayurveda strongly recommends that eat only when you are hungry. So that's the best thing, when you are not hungry, you're not going to eat, and you are going to have a proper gap between your two meals. That's ultimately going to be your intermittent fasting. And as Dr. Brennan says, based on your body type, you can consider your hours of intermittent fasting.
Mia is asking, is there, like, to treat the chronic autoimmune, is it too much? It require bigger changes? Mia, depends what's going on. It's a bit of commitment in the beginning, just maybe introducing a little bit of spices in your diet, eating your main meal in the middle of the day, going to bed on time, all the basic principles we're going to talk in the coming courses, or if you have listened to the courses before, the basics are the same. but we will design a kind of a plan where we go with the diet, what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, and what should be your lifestyle, and certain herbs. So it's a little effort in the beginning to change your habits, but it's not that hard. A lot of my patient has, once they get into the swing of things, it's easier. It's easy for them. They start liking the food, and it's easy for them to, maybe, for example, giving up coffee or giving up snacks. And the question on the red wine was, somebody said in the Middle East they drink red wine for keeping their body warm. In moderation, it's fine. Yeah, but if you're already feeling very hot, then you better avoid it. So.
Okay. When best? Go ahead, Nahid.
No, you go ahead.
No, you.
Thank you. So, so there's a question about, I'm always cold. What do you recommend? So, like regarding doshas, the opposite balances and the likes increases. So if you are cold, then you need to focus to keep yourself warm. You can do that by adding some of the warming spices in your diet. It can be cumin, it can be ajwain, caraway seeds, it can be ginger, which can give you internal heat and can keep you calm. And just cover yourself properly and do abhyanga. Abhyanga helps to calm down your vata and will let you not feel that much cold. It will give you a warming sensation, and you can do that followed by a hot shower.
So there was a question about doshas. Liver and gallbladder are more pitta, hot organs in the midriff, pitta, whereas kidney can be a combination of kapha, because its water works in vata. So, and when's best to exercise? Kapha times of the day, early morning or early evening would be really good. And Mary says, celiac, where does she start? Well, Mary, if it's a full-blown celiac condition, then you just have to be off the gluten. But if it's not a profoundly entrenched genetic disorder like that, a lot of people can't handle gluten because their digestive systems are not good. So you must focus on the advice around digestion as a start.
Somebody was asking the Shanshamnivati, what is that? We have equivalent to that MA630, and that is to deal with the COVID situation, with the malaria, with the virus, bad cold and flu, a lot of different conditions. But again, you take it under the supervision of your doctor. You ask the doctor first. But somebody said they can't see on the website. Noel, is it there? I think it's there.
MA630, yeah. The best way to find anything on the website is use the search bar. There's so many products on there. So just use the search bar on the homepage, and MA630 with no gaps. We have it in stock, so I'm pretty sure it's on the website. I'll double check again after this, but I'm pretty sure it is up there, you know. So just use the search bar on the homepage, MA630, you know. Someone asked, were essential oils a part of Ayurveda? Absolutely. There's Ayurvedic courses on essential oils that are done, you know. So
we do have Vata Pitta Kapha blends, which is all essential oil.
Yeah, we have lots of different blends.
Yeah, we do use essential oils. Yeah, like Vata is very nice. Fennel, lavender, lemongrass. That's what is recommended. And Pitta is cooling aroma oil, sandalwood, rose. And Kapha is more stimulating one, cinnamon and ginger, things like that. So yeah, essential oils are part of Ayurveda.
So hemorrhoids, yes, obviously you want to keep your elimination very easy. So ensure you're not getting constipated, and make sure you have plenty of fiber in your diet, lots of fruits and vegetables for that, and you're drinking enough fluids. And things like prunes and stewed fruits can be helpful as well. But there's a preparation triphala which is very helpful to keep you moving, and it's taken triphala with rose. It's taken at night going to bed, maybe 1 to 4 tablets with water. But the specific herbal which is very useful for the hemorrhoids is MA247. So I would take maybe 2 tablets of that twice a day before meals with water, and I think that would help. And Francis asks about allergies. I suppose any condition in Ayurveda, what we do is we look at whether it is Vata, Pitta or Kapha, but allergies, you would have to say, are due to ama, or the byproducts from poor digestion and metabolism, which interfere with the immune system. Often they end up being Kapha problems like runny nose, coughs, colds, hay fever, things. It could be related to food. So again, it comes back down to minding digestion and probably minding Kapha. But we can't always be very clear because everyone is unique and different. So the advice we give on the answer to these questions would, be far, in a consultation, it would be much more specific to you. Sorry, Noah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, a couple of people are asking about MA630 and somebody said they put it in and they couldn't find it. I've just put it in and it just comes up. So just make sure you're on the right website, ayurveda.ie. And when you put MA630 in, don't use any gaps, just MA630 and should come up, but just be sure you're on the right website. I don't think they have it in the UK at the moment. So if you're on maharishi.co.uk, yeah, Michael McCarthy says MA630 is there using the search. Okay, Michael, great. I'm glad you found it as well. So, yeah, but I don't think it'll be there for too much longer, to be honest, because we've only a few of them left, but we do have them ordered in from India. So hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll have more,
Somebody asked about fibromyalgia, and that's a difficult long-term chronic condition, but often very good results with Ayurveda. The toxins are byproducts from disturbed metabolism from whatever cause. I mean, often it comes at a time of great stress that the metabolism gets totally thrown, and it constantly lodges toxins in the muscles, giving the pains, and it's disturbed vata that gives the disturbed night's sleep. So there would be a lot of advices to lifestyle, diet, digestion, balancing vata, cleansing the toxins, but it's quite feasible to get back to normal. It will take some months.
There's a question about vitamin D deficiency from Jyoti Chayaya. How does Ayurveda address vitamin D deficiency? My blood tests are constantly indicating low levels.
Sunbathe.
You won't be doing too much sunbathing at the moment, but even though today wasn't bad, it was a spring day today here, all right. But sunbathe, or I presume food state vitamin D, if you can, supplementation.
You've a nice one from Cytoplan, Noel.
Yeah, there's a nice vitamin D on our website from Cytoplan. Just again, put vitamin D in the search bar or go down to vitamins and minerals in the shop and you can see it there, but
if you're continuously deficient, it is absorption problem. Probably you're not absorbing it. So make sure the brand is good as the Cytoplan, or I would recommend combining it with the CalciCare because it helps with the absorption of the nutrients in the body. So CalciCare is MA953 and plenty of green veg and all of nice.
And do not have tea or coffee after having your meal, just immediately after having your meal, and having any herbals, any supplement for vitamin D and calcium as well.
Can pregnancy cause an imbalanced dosha?
Oh, pregnancy is wonderful. It's really good for health.
Really, the person might be overdoing, might be overwhelmed. So rest and enjoy this wonderful time.
But the thing there is that it's described in Ayurveda as rejuvenating. Each tissue in turn of the body gets sorted and resolved. So the actual pregnancy itself is a process of renewal, which of course is nature preparing you to be, for the next 4 years at the beck and call of a baby. But it can be very healthy. It's a matter of course, taking advantage of it to do everything for your health, for your baby's sake, as well as your own at that time.
Yeah. So somebody said a very nice thing. Alison is saying, so the doshas can be affected by many things, time of the day, season, time of life and lifestyle, and so forth. But we are always trying to put dosha back into balance from where we are, and then strengthening the mind and body from there. Our aim is to get back into the right balance for us as an individual. Yes, that's right, Alison. You got it.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
There was a comment there, sorry Don, there was a comment there from somebody, I just missed it, they're coming in so fast, about the fact that, you know, people working, they can't, you know, there's so little time that they can't get a proper lunch or anything like that. And like we're advising to eat your main meal in the middle of the day. So what you need to do is learn how to make a flask lunch. And we have a little video about doing that on our YouTube channel. So if you make a flask lunch that you prepare, and by the time you get to 1 o'clock or 12:30 or whatever time you have, then the meal is prepared for you, and you then eat that meal, and then you go for a little walk. And like, that's the very minimum you should be getting, is time to eat a meal and go for a walk for your lunch, you know. But so a flask lunch is the cure to that particular problem, so that you don't have to be eating crisps and sandwiches and stuff like that. And it's very easy to prepare a flask lunch.
Anthony, I love your question. Would TM help your resistance to change regarding motivating you to get up early and motivating you to move, to go outside and enjoy life again? Anthony, not surprising with all this lockdown, the old Kapha, because Kapha needs a little bit of stimulation and a variety and spice, and all this boredom of rest. It throws the Kapha out, and Kapha brings a heaviness to the mood, a dullness to the feeling, a lack of initiative, just a total slowing down. So basically what I would say to you is you've got to actually give yourself, in fact, a good kick up the transom and get moving. Because what really balances Kapha is your exercise, variety and spice, stimulation, challenge yourself, get out of the bed in the morning, because what you're describing is actually a wonderful indication of what happens when we go out of balance, because we go out of balance very subtly and don't notice it. And the next thing, we stop doing everything that will bring us back to balance. In fact, we start to choose to do exactly the wrong things, because the imbalance starts to influence our thinking and we make wrong choices. So now we're feeling good, dull and grotty, and we sleep in, which makes us feel more heavy and grotty and dull. Out of the bed in the morning, do some exercise, you know, you know, get out and about as soon as you can. Get what exercise you can. It's a Kapha season, which makes us more sad. So maybe choose the Kapha foods with lots of spices. Maybe do a semi-fast. Eat lightly for a day or two. Drink lemon and honey and warm water. They're simple things, but they can start to lift that heaviness and then bring back your spark.
Natalie Stewart says, I made lovely soup this morning. It took approximately half an hour. Sweet potatoes. Every time I go down, I miss it, but there seems to be some very nice ingredients in that. It's very easy to make a flask lunch. So people, you know, that's one way of getting around that problem.
There is a question about, can it cure arthritis in knees? And there was also a question about, can it cure rheumatoid arthritis? And there was a question about how to balance the osteoporosis situation. So, of course, Ayurveda can cure diseases, but we mostly discuss on the preventive aspects because we don't want to give some general knowledge about any disease like that, because it's always about based on your body type and based on your prakriti. And we have done a detailed webinar on the arthritis, where we have covered rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, and fibromyalgia. Noel, are we going to repeat that webinar?
Yeah, we will repeat that webinar. I mean, it's available. Anybody can rent it on our website, you know, but we repeat them every now and then. Like Dr. Rajvinder's Cookery Course 1, we're repeating next week, actually. We will repeat them all. I pick one every now and then and just do a repeat, because actually when you, even though it's available on the website, most people don't, you know, they just never get around to it. Whereas when you run a repeat of it, that kind of focuses their minds on doing it if they're interested in it. So definitely, I mean, that was a 2-hour long webinar with absolutely fantastic information in it, you know. So if anybody is actually suffering from any of those conditions and didn't see that webinar, then they can just rent it on the website, you know. But the best thing is always, if you have a serious condition or you really want to get involved in Ayurveda and go on a path in Ayurveda, is to have a consultation with a doctor, because as I said in the introduction to the video, it's a personalized thing. Everybody's different, and the doctors are trained to pick out, you know, the type of dosha that you are, and you know what are the herbs that are going to be good for you and everything like that. And really, you know, this is an educational course as opposed to an individual consultation where we're individually solving people's problems. Like the things we give here are very general things really. So anybody that wants to go further should consider having a consultation with one of the doctors, really, especially if it's a serious condition that has or a chronic condition that it can be long lasting and has the potential to get worse.
Some poor lady here has chilblains, painful red toes, and is a Vata person, and Vata tend to have difficulties with cold hands, cold feet, circulation. I would definitely be considering using plenty of hot spices, because if you light the fire centrally, it can help to distribute the heat peripherally as well. I would think of an oil massage as a way of protecting your body from the cold and giving you some more internal heat. I balance the Vata generally. And I wonder, I bet some of our Vaidya's will have some suggestions for chilblains for the circulation. Would Dr. Naheed or Dr. Rajvinder have a thought about the chilblains, the circulation?
Yeah, include more warming spice. I had a guy, John, he might be here on the course. He was having very kind of chilblains in the hands, even in the house. So you need to balance your Vata. If you're eating cold food, salads, and drinking cold water and things, change from there, and slowly your body will pick up. And there are some herbs. So you do consider taking, like, even just general herb like Chyawanprash, which is amla and vitamin C. It has pip, which is a very warming spice. So just kind of you have to start taking the warming spices slowly. And a ginger turmeric tea, you just boil the ginger turmeric in your drink down and add some honey. That's a wonderful heating up for your body. Cinnamon is brilliant. Start adding cinnamon to your porridge, cinnamon to your drinks and cooking. So yeah, you can do a lot for that. And massage, I recommend massaging it with the sesame oil or the joint soothe oil, because joint soothe oil ingredients in it. So mix it with sesame and massage on the area. So you stimulate some of the circulation. But avoid any of the electrical gadgets, anything electrical gloves or anything like that.
Anthony, homemade soup gave him heartburn. Well, I suppose it depends on what's in the soup, Anthony, as well. So it could be two things. Either your digestion is completely out of balance, where nearly everything is giving you heartburn. So you really need to look at your digestion there. Or it could be that you have some very heating spices in the soup. So go for more cooling spices in the soup would be the thing to do. But really, soup should not be giving you heartburn unless there's something really.
It might be the tea after the soup.
Sorry?
Might be the tea after the soup.
Tea after the soup. Okay.
Like Irish people, kettle is on.
Ayurveda recommends not to drink immediately after a meal, leave it a while. How do you deal with a sluggish digestive system? We will have a talk about digestion in the course, and yes, the use of spices helps greatly, and also greatly helps that you're in tune with your body, eating appropriate amounts at appropriate time. So there's a lot of different ways to have a sluggish digestion. How do you rest a very busy mind at night? Francis, I find a very gentle set of asanas before bed really helpful for people. And Noel is running, and Dr. Rajvinder running yoga courses on Wednesdays and Saturday. And you pick up some gentle stretching postures that would be ideal for settling the mind, because yoga is about settling the mind.
Yeah, we have a yoga class tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and then we have one on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, and you can book them on the website, and they're great. It's very gentle yoga. It would be perfect for doing before you go to bed at night. Sue Dab has a nice comment there. She said, Vata always had cold feet, needing hot water bottles, etc. Now I've included spices as recommended, and the problem has gone away. So that's great, Sue. Good to hear that.
I love your comments. There's a lot of beautiful comments about what people have been doing since they've been watching the courses and the changes it's making to their lives. Very uplifting.
Okay, so listen, we're
getting... What about Naheed? Naheed, you tell me something.
Naheed is falling asleep there.
Doing so much, yeah. 4 o'clock in the morning. God love you, Naheed.
I was just reading the question. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Okay. So I was just saying if there's anything you want to say, because we're doing all the talking.
They're asking what time is good for exercise. Maybe you take that.
Morning. Morning is the best time to do all your exercises because that's the kapha time, and kapha needs motivation. Kapha needs to be, do some kind of activity. So morning time is the best time to do your exercise. But if you are too busy, then you can do that in the evening time. When you are not too full, you don't have much food. So it's always better that you are doing your exercises than not doing anything.
Somebody asked about ankylosing spondylitis. It again would tend to be Vata. I would have you doing the oil massage regularly. I tend to balance your Vata generally. And the herbal, if that's what you're looking for, is MA1673. To try that one because that helps muscles and ligaments as well as joints. So you could take 2 of those twice a day after meals.
Nice comment from Megan's iPhone there. She said after the last course, she was so inspired. She went and volunteered at an Ayurveda center in France. So well done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
People are asking about TM again. Soham is a different thing. And what makes TM unique is its effortlessness, and it's not tied to anything, not tied to the breath, not tied to anything, which keeps your mind engaged in some process. So the TM is very, very innocent. It's most evidence-based in terms of the general health benefits. And, in Rendlesham, yes, they are teaching TM there, and they do Panchakarma occasionally, not all the time. So you'd have to find out from them if they have it.
Fortunately, there's no one teaching TM in Ireland at the moment. There's no teaching going on whatsoever. But, maybe in March or April, we'll be back up teaching again. So tm-ireland.org is the national website for Ireland. And there's a website in the UK as well.
And Maureen, it's okay to take triphala and red rice yeast at the same time. So that's fine.
Could pranayama be as effective as TM? They're different things, really. I mean, pranayama is great, and Dr. Rajvinder teaches it on our yoga classes, and it's very, very good for different things. But transcendental meditation is a different thing than pranayama, a completely different thing,
And in the tradition, the sequence would have been yoga, because yoga are integrating mind and body, and in that process, settling the mind. And pranayama starts to take the mind within, so it's more and more settling. But then the ultimate is to transcend. For that purpose, the TM takes you deeper within. So it's a lovely logical sequence to do. Another question was about vitamins and mineral supplements. The reality is our foods nowadays are depleted of minerals and vitamins. Also, we have to take into consideration age, because we don't absorb as well as we go on in life. So there certainly is a possibility of supplementing, but be aware that the old type of supplements, which are chemicals made in laboratories, are rubbish and don't do you any good. But in the last 15 years, food-based supplements, where actually it's food extracts, that are, basically the whole plant is there in its essence with the specific vitamins and minerals. Those are absorbed in our body. Those do make a difference. So I regularly would take Cytoplan 50 Plus, because it has all the vitamins in very high proportions as a food-based supplement. I think always remember as well the vitamin D in the winter. And if you're a vegetarian, your vitamin B12, you should consider supplementing that at times anyway, to keep your levels up.
Okay, I think we're getting very close to the end here.
No, what I'm just thinking is, when we had less people, we were able to keep up with the blooming questions. 416 new messages. It frustrates me, I can't get to them.
No, well, sure, look, we can only do what we can do, So listen, it seemed that the live section of this broadcast was perfect, really. I don't see anybody saying anything about the sound, but the video, and it looked good where I was playing it, but obviously there was problems with it. So we may have to consider doing our session live broadcast on Thursday rather than the one that we recorded, unless I can figure out why it's coming through that way, you know. But anyway, we will, I'll put this up on YouTube tomorrow, and maybe when you play it, you might be able to hear it better, because to be honest, the video played perfectly on the computer here. So maybe when you're playing it just yourself off YouTube and there's not 500 or 600 people on the call, then the quality of it might be better, because I really want you to hear that video. It's very, very important. I mean, it's a good start to the course, and it's important because it gives you the basic grounding for the whole course. Now, our next video is on Vata. We're spending a whole class just on Vata. So if you get a chance, go to our website, ayurveda.ie, and do a little bit of homework on Vata. Vata is air and space. So even think of the qualities of air and space, and then you can start to figure out what those qualities are going to be in an individual person, you know. So anyway,
Noel,
yeah.
can you please show our website, like when you go on a share screen, and our YouTube channel?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I
A
actually
lot of people is asking about that.
I did that on the video actually, but obviously it didn't.
It didn't
That
go
was-
across.
Didn't come through. Okay, let's hang on a second. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's it there. Can you see that clearly?
Yes.
Okay, so Ayurveda. So ayurveda.ie is our web address, ayurveda.ie. And then go to here, Ayurveda, and you can read about Vata there. That'll open up. There's a body type test you can do there. Vata, Pitta, Kapha. All of these are well worth reading. Well, maybe not the health advice videos, but the introduction, the body type test, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and herbal power. All of those are worth reading, okay? But for the next class, read up about Vata, and no harm to do a body type test. It's not going to be definitive, but it'll start to give you an idea of what dosha you are. Down here, visit our YouTube channel. Just click on that, and I'll have this video up on YouTube tomorrow for you to go back and look at. And we've lots and lots of videos on our YouTube channel. Lots and lots of videos. So I'll
And the next time, if you want a question answered, get it in early, I'd suggest.
yeah, okay, you get it in early if you can, because there's so much there, you know. Anyway, listen, sorry about the quality. It's a new course, so we're just learning as we go along, and I don't think the Zoom probably we recorded them on Zoom and then we're replaying them on Zoom, and maybe there's a complication with that. So I'm afraid the doctors, we might have to go live on Thursday after all your recording. But anyway, I always prefer live myself anyway. And patience is a virtue. Yes, exactly. Patience is a virtue. So anyway, we're glad we hope you enjoyed it. There's still over 500 people on the call, so it must have been good. And we're on again on Thursday. I'll send you the Zoom link Thursday morning. Please get back to me by lunchtime on Thursday if you don't have it. Don't leave it till the last minute if you can, because it puts me under too much pressure. So just get back to me early in the day if you don't have the Zoom link, and I'll send it out to you. Big thank you to our doctors. A special big thank you to Dr. Naheed for staying up so late to be with us this evening.
Thanks, Naheed.
And blessings with our wisdom.
Thank you, Noel, for arranging everything for us.
Yeah, and Dr. Rajvinder as well, and of course Dr. Brennan's words of wisdom as usual. So namaste, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks a million for coming on.
Thank you. Good night.
We
Goodbye.
look forward to seeing you again on Thursday, and you'll get an email off me in the morning as well. And hopefully you'll be able to, oh, there's the girls from Hot Yoga in Dundrum. Hey, how you doing? Nadia and Sophia. Okay, fantastic, everybody. Thank you very much for coming on, and we'll see you again on Thursday, and we might see you on our yoga class tomorrow night with Dr. Rajvinder and myself, you know. Okay, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.